Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another video in the series we like to call Underrated Throwers. Today we got Dave Laut, a very important figure in shot putting history because he is one of the first people to transition from the glide to the rotation and and throw over 22 meters. He's one of the first guys to throw over 22 meters with the rotational shot put technique, and him and Oldfield were probably the two most prominent people in this era, which is like the 70s, late or early 80s, to get to have success with the rotational shot put. He is a 22. His personal best is 22:02. He's a bronze medalist at the Olympics, a Pan American champ. And just overall, honestly, very underrated in terms of his technique. I actually kind of really like his technique, especially at this time. The rotational shot was just being introduced, really. He wasn't the pioneer of it or anything, but he was one of the first people to start having success with it, and from the glide to the rotational shot. So, and all my videos, I'll link his notable accomplishments, his personal best, his height, weight in the video description. He's a UCLA alumni, a two-time NCAA champion, and during that time when he was still in college, he was the number one ranked shot putter in the world, and I would say that he's had like he's competing in world champs, but actually I don't think they had the world championships back then. Not a lot of people know this, but the world championships I think was introduced in the late '80s, which is why you see a lot of these people from like the '70s and stuff don't have any world championship medals, but have Olympic medals, and that's the reason why. So that's just a fun little tidbit of history. But let's get into his technique. So let's just watch it regular motion. All right. So very dynamic start. Really stays low. As you can see, it's not like the prettiest thing in the world, but I mean, again, this is like these are like the foundations for rotational shot, basically. I mean, he's one of the first people, like I said, to be doing it. Him and Oldfield. And you can see a lot of similarities, and you can see a lot of similarities to the glide. Starts very low, really hunched shoulders, which I actually like, tries to stay as low as possible, and then kind of has a glide finish and just jumps up in the air, kind of. He doesn't really rotate and stay on the ground, and that was the style back then because, I mean, the glide finish and the glide reverse really stuck with the rotational shot for quite a long time, until I would say the late 2000s. Randy Barnes was really one of the only people who actually rotated through the finish and didn't just jump. But I mean, I know people are like, oh, he jumped and threw 22 meters. Like, yeah, I mean, like I say in all my videos, if you're strong enough and athletic enough, you can get away with certain stuff like jumping at the finish, but as we know nowadays, it's not the most efficient use. You want to stay on the ground as long as possible. But let's get into his throw. So starts pretty evenly balanced, really low. All right. Gets kind of over his left leg, sits back really nice with his butt, and really gets around. Doesn't really like shift his weight over his left. I would like this armpit to be over his knee, but I mean, and it causes him to stand up a little bit and doesn't get like a good knee, like a good shin angle at the back. But I mean, I'm not. He's a very important figure. And I think a lot of people should know who Dave Laut is. All right. So, and I forgot to mention, he's a U.S. shot putter. In case you couldn't figure that out by him going to college in the U.S. But I totally forgot about that. But so he's here, Gets really nice. Actually holds his chest very well. Nice sweep. I know it's very blurry because of the time this video was made. So it's not the best quality in the world. But gets a nice sprint. Really like this angle. And as you can see, he's not really like turning his right foot very well. And kind of lands a little open. So I like him to keep rotating his right foot. But I mean, he opens his left shoulder, but he's still staying back. He's not shifting to his left. So that's good. So he's being patient at the finish. And then right here, he just kind of does a glide finish. So normally you'd want to see people rotate. When you're a rotational shot putter, rotate and stay on the ground and keep working the ground. But he kind of just throws like a glider, which is understandable because at the time rotational shot was still very new and people were still figuring it out. So he gets off the ground really early when the shot's still in his hand, but nice block right here. And actually, he keeps his right foot, his right knee bent, which is actually very uncommon for people of this time throwing rotational shot. So that's good. Really nice finish. So his left foot was here. His right foot replaces it. All right. I think this throw was around like 21.78. This isn't his PR throw. Still a very far throw. I mean, it's over 70 feet. Actually, I think it's over 71 feet. But, just overall, not really much to it. It's just very simple. I don't mean to sound very disrespectful, but it just looks like a high schooler throwing kind of, like nowadays. Just a very, like, it looks like you could throw really far with this technique with a 12. If you weren't as strong and as powerful as Dave Laut, which clearly he is, to throw, you have to be to throw 22 meters. Yeah, it's not like the prettiest thing in the world. It's not the most efficient technique in the world. But, it just looks like a high schooler. But it's also completely understandable, He's one of the people who made the rotational shot a lot more popular, him and Ofield, and made more people want to do it. So I got to give respect for that, And yeah, overall just very influential just for that reason. Not to mention, his success in his career, and both collegiate and post-collegiate, in the pro circuit. So, yeah. Hope you guys like this video. Again, I'll link his height, weight, personal bests, and notable accomplishments in the video description as always. And have a nice day.